You do know sometime taking this journey, winning the warfare in your mind, sometimes it can be overwhelming. When you start probing the 3-step process that we talk about, identifying the problem, asking probing questions, and then pinpoint the problem. But what I noticed for me, as you start probing these questions, like for me, sometimes, for years, you know, not feeling like I was being heard. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you ever have this when you're talking and people cut you off, and it's like feels like what you're saying has no value, or that they think they know more than you, and not realizing you, the response they give you has nothing to do with with where you're going, the direction you're going in the conversation. People just assume they hear certain words and oh no, I got the answer for you. Well, what that can do, what that could do for me, I'm like, okay, whatever. But when you get to asking these probing questions and start identifying these problems, and you guys go my YouTube page, Ray's Corner Live and Exodus Life Change. I'm actually going to do a series on this. When you start asking those probing questions, it can take you places. It can take me places. It can take you back to experiences that the feelings start to become overwhelming. A sense of why did I allow that to happen to me? Why did I continually try to be a people pleaser? Why did I continually, like David, putting on Saul's armor, and David was like, this armor don't fit me. Just give me my slingshots and rocks, and continue to try to put on other people's armor, knowing that it don't work for you. And for years, that's what I tried to do, put on other people's armor, knowing that it didn't work for me, and it don't work for me. So I just want to let you know, if you take this journey, and you'll hear me say this all the time, if you follow me on this journey, it's going to be deep. It's going to be some struggles. It's going to kick up some feelings. It's, at times, like it's like 3 o'clock in the morning right now, when I started writing stuff, and I literally had to stop. Don't just keep going and let those feelings overtake you. 20 years of drugs and all that in my life, and overcoming those things with the power of God. But I do understand, if I just keep going, that the enemy wants to try to use guilt while I'm trying to get better at dealing with what I need to deal with. Hold on a second. So I wrote down a couple of things this morning. Like, why do I constantly try to prove myself to people? I'm going to unpack these things in my episodes on Ray's Corner Live and Exodus Life Change, but these are some of the things that I wrote down this morning. Why do I constantly try to prove myself to people, which causes me to be a people pleaser? I don't think people want to hear what I have to say. And you say that, well, yeah, but people, no. It's what you believe. It's not what somebody else will say. Well, yeah, people listen to you, but it's not what other people say. It's what you believe. See, the responses that sometimes you get from people, they mean no harm. They really believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. But in reality, it might be that way for them, but it might be that way for me. Or it might not be that way for you. What I believe in is not wrong to me. Because what I believe in, you believe in something different, that's on you. So I can't make you change how I feel about something, or something God is showing me about something about me that don't fit your makeup. I need to understand the purpose and plan that God has for my life, what he shows me, what I need to do here on earth. I need to look at myself like he looks at me. At times, I think people really believe I don't know what I'm talking about. How many of y'all feel like that at times? See, when you start unpacking these things, when you start probing, when you start identifying these lies, right, and turning them to truth, but to get to that process, we have to identify that lie and we have to start dealing with the problem. So we have to start identifying the problems. I'm trying to do things the way that don't fit me. I think people don't feel the value I bring. I'm not able to be heard all the way before I can finish the thought. Cut off. Yeah. Well, okay. So I want you guys, I got a few more things, but I'm going to unpack this on continue to follow this process, winning the war in your mind, change your thinking to change your life, asking these probing questions. If some of the things I say you can identify with. See, I had to write it down to get it out of me. And as I'm doing these things, maybe I'm not doing it for likes, I'm doing it for shares and all that stuff. I'm doing it because I wish I could hear it from somebody else to know that I'm not alone. Because sometimes the enemy wants you to feel like you're the only one going through this. Trying to fit in where God don't want you to fit in. Let's tell you a story about the men in the guy in the Gadarenes. Guys, the people that know the Bible, he's a guy in the Gadarenes. He was in the tombs trying to, he was crazy. He was trying to kill himself, couldn't kill himself. He was like a madman and things like that. And he saw Jesus afar off. And when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and started worshiping him. And Jesus looked down at him and said, "What is your name?" And the person said, "I am Legion, for I am many." And then he said, "Jesus, why have you come to torment me before my time?" And the story goes on with the guy, when after Jesus interrogated him everything, and the guy said, "Can you please let me go over there to the swine?" And Jesus said, "Go into the swine." The swine ran off and died, and then all that stuff, and you know that. And then the reality, right? 20 years of drugs and alcohol. So when the guy got delivered, they were getting on the boat, and he ran over to Jesus and said, "I want to go with you." And Jesus said, you see those 12 people? You don't fit in with them. Go back to the city. Show what I've done. Go and deliver those who were just like you. And I remember identifying with that because as a man of God, not fitting in with all the other pastors and stuff like that. And here, the first thought that went through my head right now, if some pastors hear this, the first thought that came to the enemy just hit me with a thought, right? If other men of God hear what I'm saying, right, it as a negative connotation with somebody or being on a pity pot, it ain't none of that stuff, right? What it is I kept trying to fit in places in the kingdom where God never sent me to be. There's a particular assignment that I have, and that was to go back and convert people who are just like me. And I continue to try to fit in these circles, and I never fit in. And it's not a bad thing because it's not about fitting in now. That wasn't my purpose. That wasn't my assignment. That is not where God wanted me to go. So there's places that you're trying to fit into. There's people. And I also realize I've been talking to people, not that they don't want to hear me. I've been talking to the wrong people. I've been trying to help people that really don't want my help. And that's what we come to the realization. We're talking to people we shouldn't be talking to. We're trying to help people who, no matter what we do, continually not receiving our help, or not, just like we're pouring in and we see nothing. So we're dealing with the wrong people. I realize I'm not for everybody. I realize it ain't about getting a bunch of subscribers and followers and stuff like that. There's a particular people that will hear my voice that can identify what I went through, what I'm going through, what the feelings, right? That we can change our behavior with truth from the Word of God. Remove the lies and replace them with truth. Identifying the lies by identifying the problem, by asking the probing questions, by pinpointing the lie, and overcoming it with truth.